This is a constitutional first major world conference after 90 days, organized by the Alliance for Self-Determination of the Indigenous Ethnic Nationalities in Nigeria. So as you watch, please do watch, subscribe to our channel if you're yet to do that. If you have not done that, and also do well also to drop your comments. Let's know what you think. Thank you and God bless you.
The uniquely special address of today, Professor Banji Akintoye, you are welcome, sir. Thank you. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Settle down. Settle down. Prof. Don't do it. Professor Bedengeni, our leader from the United States. He has come all the way from the United States. Professor Majeure Bedengeni.
Once again, Koiki Media bringing the world closer to your doorsteps.
About to set the camera, we have to move to the one. Come more to your doing. I'm moving. About to set the camera, we have to move to the one.
Before we commence the announcements and the reading of the text, may I introduce Professor Majeure Bedengeni of Temple University of the United States of America, who came specially because of this.
Check my name on Galaxy, whatever it is. Can I put let me see. Okay, let me try to connect to that.
So when we are through setting our camera, let's
No, not with that. The one you can identify. Don't touch me. Just hold it.
Once again, Koiki Media bringing the world closer to your doorsteps.
everything is full.
Are we through?
We are true, we need to start before.
We need to start.
We need to start before we leave.
What are the frame like? Oh my God.
So just go on your Google and just type Wikimedia or type Kingdom TV in US or type Heritage TV. No.
Okay. So
Or YouTube, never listen to YouTube. And you just go to Heritage TV or go to it.
oh yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Sir.
Yes, what Judge, what we do, let him begin. When it's been done to speak, return the camera. Because the place is full.
No problem.
Let's try everything.
We are losing time because there's no.
Let me just ask, let him start. Let him start.
Total broadcasting Majeure, it's about to begin now.
Just begin with him. Begin with him. You have turned the camera to me. I don't know why it's not connecting. You find someone to speaking. You understand? Professor Bishop is ready to deliver the statement. When he's done, on sitting with me, is he not already connected in your studio? Is he? Is he connected to the studio?
Yes.
Yeah.
On Zoom?
Yes.
Check.
So
Is it on his name? What name is on that?
It's on
What's the name?
Dr. Adejumo.
You will see Dr. Adejumo.
Akin Adejumo.
Dr. Akin Adejumo is what you will see. Dr. Akin Adejumo. Look at his face, you will also recognize him. Look well. Akin Adejumo, an iPhone.
iPhone King.
He's been in for a while. From the time I was speaking with you, was already in.
iPhone XX.
XX. iPhone XS.
XX. Please, what as few people as possible here.
Can you unmute him so he speaks? I don't know. Okay.
If you are not operating the camera, hello.
Your hands so
If you are not operating the camera and the equipment, please go and sit down. Let one person stay there until we are ready.
to start. We need to start before we leave this place.
Okay.
Have you identified him? He's waving his hand. He's in white. Okay. Let him wave. Let him raise his hand on the device.
He's waving.
No, let him raise his hand on the device. I say wave from the device. Let him raise his hand.
Dr. Adejumo.
Okay.
Please come over.
Yes.
Let's start.
Get him to raise his hand.
A wave.
No, get him to raise his hand.
Just wave. I mean, as if.
Use the device.
There are thousands of people. There are thousands of people.
Raise hand.
So what's
Okay.
set a padà lórí set it.
Set it
Should
properly.
capture.
Yes, in white dress and native cap. Okay, we're good to go now. When it's done, then the interpreter will speak to me.
Be careful, though. That's... No.
Okay, please, absolute silence.
It cannot be there. It's covering my face.
Do you have enough lights to see? No, the statement will come to you. Don't do that. The statement will come to you. You see, here with me now. Here with me. Let us start. Yes.
Master.
We are losing light.
Put on the light.
1, 2. All right.
Okay, sir.
Once it starts, please let's go to the back.
I want to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Thank you for assembling in such large numbers for this historic moment. I also want to thank significant, important citizens of ours who are here today. I thank particularly Tony Nadi, the Secretary of the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, NINAS. I thank the chairman of Ilana Omodua. I thank Professor Majeure from the United States, one of our leaders in the United States. I thank my son, Ademola Edward, also from the United States, who is a very important person in the evolution of a united front of Yoruba people in the diaspora. I thank you all. I thank Shade Olukoya, treasurer of Ilana Omodu, and I thank Mrs. Akintoye, my wife, who insisted on being this very historic moment. Well, thank you for being here. God bless you all. I cannot mention only Babawa, Chief Ali Oyedeji from the Upper Ogun part of Oyo State. Baba, thank you very much. Thank you all. Please don't take it against me if I don't mention your name, because there are so many.
Yes.
Baba.
Yes, they are meeting.
Chief Imam. Our Chief Imam.
Unmute.
A Yoruba of Ilorin of Kwara State. Thank you for coming.
He wasn't hearing you. You were muted before.
Oh, okay. They want me to start now.
Just listen to the man.
Okay.
She can increase volume.
Gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen of the press, thank you for being here. And thank you all for honoring this very historic moment in the life of our people. I thank the leader, the chairman of Ilana Omoodua, Professor Wale Adenina. I thank the Secretary Homeland, the Homeland Secretary of Ilana Omoodua. I thank Professor Majeure from the United States, who has found time to make it to come for this conference. I thank Ademola Edward, who is a very important person in the evolution of a united front for our people in the diaspora. I thank you all. I thank you, Ababa, Chief Oyedeji, from the Okeogun area of our state. Thank you all. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mrs. Akintoye, my wife, who is great, who is joyful to see this very historic moment, and is here with us. I cannot mention many more names. We have a short time to get this done. This is being carried worldwide on Zoom, and there are already thousands of people who are taking part across the world. So it's a very major event in the life of our people. This is and I thank all the 130 signatories to the December 16, 2020 Constitutional Force Majeure Declaration. I know you are not here, but I know that you are watching, and you are taking part from different parts of the world. This is the Constitutional Force Majeure Union dispute and the expiration of the 90-day notice of grave constitutional grievances. And the subject of today is the next steps for the trapped ethnic nations of Nigeria. The next steps for the trapped ethnic nations of Nigeria. This is the text of a World Press Conference by the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, NINA. And it is being delivered by me as chairman of the alliance, Professor Banji Akintoye. Thank you, everybody. As the distressed Federation of Nigeria continues to wobble through what seems its terminal throes, it will be recalled that the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, NINAS, aggregating the indigenous nations and peoples of southern and middle belt of Nigeria, who have found themselves at the receiving end of a most vicious ethnic cleansing onslaught by heavily armed invading Fulani militia, who are masquerading as herdsmen, formally declared a union dispute with the Federation of Nigeria as represented by the federal government of Nigeria via the Constitutional Force Majeure Proclamation of December 16, 2020, in which it made a five-point demand upon the federal government of Nigeria to formally commence the remediation of the grave constitutional grievances enumerated in the said proclamation within a period of 90 days, beginning from the midnight of December 16, 2020. The full text of the December 16 proclamation was published unedited as an advertorial in the January 20, 2021 edition of the Guardian newspaper at pages 38, 39, 41, 40 and 41. Hard copies of the proclamation were also dispatched to the President of Nigeria, the Secretary General of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation of Nigeria, the President of Nigerian Senate, the Speaker of the Nigeria's House of Representatives, the Nigerian Governors Forum, the Conference of Speakers of State Assemblies of Nigeria, the United Nations, the European Union, African Union missions in Nigeria, and the ambassadors of the United States, China, Russia, France, Germany, Belgium, and Japan to Nigeria, the High Commissioners of the United Kingdom and Australia to Nigeria, ECOWAS Secretariat, and other stakeholder institutions and agencies. We report to you now that at the expiration of the 90-day period noticed by the midnight of March 16, 2020, no formal contact was made with NINAS by the federal government of Nigeria. And so we are gathered here today, March 17, 2021, at 5 p.m. to inform our people in all our 3 regions, as well as the international community, what our next steps will be in our resolve to extricate ourselves from the death-trapped and bondage unitary Nigeria has become to our various peoples. In refusing to step forward to the table of dialogue and negotiation, and in the characteristic arrogant disposition of the federal government of Nigeria, we wish to call your attention to several knee-jerk, patchwork, and bad faith options that the federal government of Nigeria chose to pursue in desperation to once again evade the sovereignty question it had been evading since 1967, instead of embracing the comprehensive framework tabled by the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, NINA, via the December 16, 2020 proclamation. In this regard, we note the emergency conference anchored by Channels Television and tagged Pulling Nigeria Back from the Brink, featuring Nasir El-Rufai, governor of Kaduna State, who chaired the APC Restructuring Committee, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, governor of Ekiti State, who is chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, as well as Engineer Aberibe, senator and Senate Minority Leader. In their various presentations at the conference, they spoke of the urgency of the Nigerian situation. They alluded to many of the grave constitutional grievances raised by the NINAS proclamation, but without any direct mention of NINAS or the December 16, 2020 force majeure proclamation. In what seemed like an unprecedented bipartisan consensus and legislative executive cooperation, they all agreed that immediate remediation steps need to be taken forthwith, including the return of Niger Delta's oil and gas assets to its owner, the decentralization of policing to allow state and local government police, but most curiously, the proposed urgent amendments to the 1999 Constitution and the invocation of the doctrine of necessity by the National Assembly to commence the remediation process. NINAS interprets this attempt to railroad the resolution of the great constitutional grievances to the National Assembly as a clear-minded invasion of the fundamental sovereignty question relating to the deep distortions of our Union Agreement Constitution, which must now be engaged by the constituent components of Nigeria, whose sovereignties are currently hijacked and confiscated by the Nigerian state via the fraudulent 1999 Constitution. This interpretation stems from the fact that the National Assembly, which itself is a product of the Constitution, had a few months ago acknowledged that it has no constitution-making power, as that power vests exclusively in the constituent component nationalities of Nigeria as an incident of their sovereignty. It indeed amounts to treason for the National Assembly or the exclusive branch of the federal government to continue to usurp the sovereignty, the executive branch of the federal government, to continue to usurp the sovereignty of the peoples of Nigeria, confiscated by the fraudulent 1999 Constitution, which is already repudiated and rejected by the peoples of Nigeria, especially in the Alliance territory, as represented by NINA. NINAS also sees external collaboration to this treasonous conduct of the National Assembly when groups of individuals craft and present to the National Assembly proposals inviting the National Assembly to embark on the exercise of writing or rewriting the Constitution of Nigeria via amendment without the constituent component nationalities first addressing sovereignty dispute. Those external collaborators also talk about inserting a national referendum provision in the 1999 Constitution at a time when the indigenous nationalities of Nigeria are clamoring for regional referendums to determine their sovereignty. Some talk about resuscitating the 1963 Constitution, that is constitution writing, as the way to go. This also amounts to evading the sovereignty discussion. NINAS unequivocally rejects these propositions insofar as they would operate to commandeer and railroad our hijacked collective sovereignty to the National Assembly. There was also a recent suggestion by Nigeria's Senate President Senator Lawan, that this assignment of constitutional roles to traditional rulers in Nigeria will solve the broken down security of Nigeria. These are all parts of begging the question. We have to talk. We have to ask Mr. Senate President, why have state governors who have constitutional roles not resolved the security nightmares of Nigeria or even of their various states? In all, it is clear to NINAS that both the federal government of Nigeria and the National Assembly of Nigeria are fully aware of the grave constitutional grievances of the constituent component nationalities of Nigeria, but are unwilling to address the grievances, thereby inviting upon us all a dangerous regime of self-help, especially against the hydra-headed monster of gross insecurity running wild all over Nigeria, wearing at various times the garment of Boko Haram, Fulani herdsmen, Majeure or bandits. 5. For the benefit of those who may not have read the December 16, 2020 Constitutional Force Majeure Proclamation, and for the purpose of putting a contextual backdrop to the post-notice action outline that we shall be spelling out today, permit me to read in full the 5 demands of the December 16, 2020 proclamation, along with the paragraphs immediately preceding the demand and the one immediately after it, that is the closing paragraph, so that we can better understand the reasoning behind the extraordinary measure of constitutional force majeure, as well as the implications for the depressed Nigerian Union and various stakeholders, including government, political parties, and international interests. And I quote, now I quote, accordingly, this is from the 2020 December 16 proclamation. Quote, accordingly, with the undersigned being accredited representatives of the indigenous nationalities of Nigeria's southern and middle belt territories, hereinafter called the Alliance territories, constituting over 75% of the population of Nigeria, on behalf of the peoples of the Alliance territories, and in the invocation of the universal rights of the appertinent to our sovereignty, as indigenous peoples of the distressed Nigerian Federation, including the right to self-determination, as enshrined in the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples 2007, as well as the United Nations Charter on Human Rights. Having exhausted every democratic, people-driven process in seeking an orderly redress for the aforementioned grave constitutional grievances emanating from the unilateral imposition of a unitary constitutional order on our supposed federal union by a section of Nigeria that has also imposed Sharia in their own part of our supposed secular union. And now, in circumstances that have become an extraordinary emergency for our people, being confronted by the clear and present danger of extermination in the hands of our supposed compatriots in Nigeria, who are pursuing an ethnic cleansing campaign against the indigenous nationalities of Nigeria, hereby declare a sovereignty dispute with the Federation of Nigeria as represented by the federal government of Nigeria on account of our repudiation and rejection of the imposed 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, whose authorship was fraudulently imputed to us by the preamble to that Constitution in its false claim that, quote, we the people made, enacted, and gave to ourselves the said 1999 Constitution, with a further lie in that same preamble that we had firmly and solemnly resolved to submit our peoples and our lands into the Union of Nigeria. Furthermore, in invocation of our long-suppressed collective sovereignties, we hereby proclaim a constitutional force majeure effective from the midnight of the 16th day of December 2020 with a 90-day notice to the government of the Federation of Nigeria, the Security Council of the United Nations, the government of the United States of America, the European Union and the African Union, as well as international other agencies of the international community, of the intention of the peoples of the Alliance territories to reconsider our continued allegiance to the disputed 1999 Constitution, as well as the unitary union of death, attrition, and backwardness that it has foisted upon us. For the sake of peace and to avoid anarchy, it is our demand that in the 90-day period of this notice, the following specific actions must be taken by the federal government of Nigeria to firmly set in motion an irreversible process by which the aforementioned grave constitutional grievances will be addressed. A formal announcement by the federal government of Nigeria. These are the specific demands. A formal announcement by the federal government of Nigeria acknowledging the constitutional grievances and sovereignty dispute now declared by the peoples of the South and Middle Belt of Nigeria. B. A formal commitment by the federal government of Nigeria to the wholesale decommissioning and jettisoning of the 1999 Constitution as the basis of the Federation of Nigeria, as was done by the government of apartheid-era South Africa in 1990, to commence the process by which the apartheid constitution of the then South Africa was eased out. C. A formal announcement by the federal government of Nigeria suspending further general elections under the disputed 1999 Constitution, since winners of such elections will swear to and govern by that Constitution. D. A formal invitation to the peoples of the South and Middle Belt of Nigeria to work out and emplace a transitional authority which has specified the modalities for the transitioning process, including the composition and mandate of the transitional authority, as well as the time frame for the transitioning and other ancillary matters. E. A formal initiation of a time-bound transitioning process to midwife the emergence of a fresh constitutional process by a two-stage process, in which the constituent regional bloc will at the first stage distill and ratify the various constitutions by referendums and plebiscites in the second stage, negotiate and in the second stage negotiate the terms of federating afresh, as may be dictated by the outcomes of the referendum and plebiscite. By this proclamation, let it be known to all, including international money lenders, that Nigeria is now a disputed project, and that while the constituent components commit to honoring existing international debt obligations, we caution that whatever obligations that may arise from any foreign loans contracted by the federal government of Nigeria from the date of this proclamation may come into controversy. Similarly, all loans contracted by the federal government of Nigeria containing any clause that may cede the sovereignty of Nigeria to any part or any part thereof in the event of repayment default shall be disputed as illicit and in breach of sovereignty of the federating unit. We also invite politicians from the alliance territories and all political parties operating in the alliance territories to take notice that the 1999 constitution by which the winner of any national elections in Nigeria will swear and govern is the very object of the sovereignty dispute we have just proclaimed, with a demand that further national elections premised under the repudiated Constitution of 1999 be deferred forth for the purpose of first reworking the damaged constitutional basis of Nigeria. It is therefore our expectation that you, political parties and politicians, will stand with the people you claim to speak, you claim or seek to serve as politicians or political parties in their current resolve to wind up the operation of the 1999 Constitution and to extinguish the source of their misery. If instead of standing with your people, it is therefore our expectation that you, our politicians and political parties, will stand with the people you claim to seek to serve as politicians or political parties in their current resolve to wind up the operation of the 1999 Constitution and to extinguish the source of their misery. If instead of standing with your own people, you choose to go to another round of general elections in 2023 under that Constitution, it will simply mean that you are a part of the enemy-imposed mechanism for inflicting death, misery, and impoverishment of your own people, for no other reason than for personal gain. The signatories to this proclamation commit themselves to providing a detailed proposition for undertaking this fundamental configuration of the damaged constitutional basis of Nigeria. In the MNN Alliance's November 16, 2018 open memorandum to President Muhammadu Buhari on the restructuring debate, reported by The Guardian of November 18, 2018, as an outline of our prescriptions in this proclamation. Issued this 16th day of December 2020, end of quote. 6. Before I proceed with the next steps, and the next steps are very important, permit me to make a few clarifications about the nature and substance of the sovereignty dispute we declare, and about the exact remediation propositions we made. 1. The constitutional force majeure is a carefully designed, decisive action process that will continue until it achieves its twin objectives of peacefully easing out the imposed fraudulent 1999 Constitution of Nigeria and the orderly emergence of successor constitutional protocol in keeping with the self-determination rights of the constituent component ethnic nations of the distressed Federation of Nigeria. It is therefore not a one-day Armageddon in which the roof of heavens will fall upon the earth, has been speculated by some commentators, whether out of ignorance or mischief. 2. The 90-day period of notice was for the federal government to fully consider the grievances raised and to bring itself to the table of dialogue set up by the agreed constitutional components of Nigeria. In that period, Ninas persuaded the peoples of the alliance bloc to refrain from any acts that might aggravate the volatile situation of Nigeria, even in the face of severe provocation, such as when, amidst much killings across Nigeria, the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, recklessly declared that the murderous Fulani herdsmen rampaging everywhere in Nigeria had the right under the Constitution to be in every part of Nigeria and to carry AK-47 rifles. This means that after the 90-day period of notice, the peoples of Nigeria are aggregated in the alliance. We proceed with various processes towards achieving the objectives of the March 16, 2020 proclamation, namely the easing out of the fraudulent 1999 Constitution and the distillation of successor constitutional protocols. 2. The next line of action expressly indicated by Ninas in the proclamation is that of reconsideration of the continued allegiance to the 1999 Constitution. It is important to state here that the exact processes by which the reconsideration will be enacted shall be communicated to the public in measured steps as the days progress. And so Ninas hereby invites all stakeholders to be on the lookout for directions, every care being taken to avoid anarchy or any kind of breakdown of order. 4. Building upon the former repudiation of the 1999 Constitution by the constituent components of Nigeria, including by solemn assemblies over the last 20 years, the joint proclamation of December 16, 2020 by Nina was to serve notice of the impending formal withdrawal of the contrived consent forged signature of the peoples of Nigeria by which the 1999 Constitution is being sustained and validated as basis of the Nigerian Union and its government. The press conference of today is to commence the retirement process. The press conference of today is to commence the retirement process of the 1999 Constitution in a manner that restores the hijacked sovereignties of the constituent components of Nigeria, from which they may freely enter into fresh protocol, all through a transitioning process that retains existing governance structures throughout the transitioning period, as South Africa did to itself out of the apartheid constitutional order. Come on, how are you? A couple. Yeah. Okay. Now to the next steps. Now to the next steps.
No.
Absolute silence, please.
Please, silence, please.
Absolutely.
After due consultation with our stakeholders, bearing in mind that the 5-point demand contained in the December 16, 2020 proclamation was addressed to the federal government of Nigeria, and considering the fact that in the event that matters progress to the reconsideration of allegiance to the 1999 Constitution, political office holders from the Alliance territories who will be directly impacted may be caught in the middle of a dispute to which they have not been made parties. NINAS therefore deems it appropriate and necessary to first bring in such persons that may be so impacted into the dispute before further notice. Accordingly, NINAS hereby invites all elected public office holders from the Alliance territory, that is the middle belt, the southwest, the southeast, and the south-south, within a period of 30 days, commencing from the midnight of March 17, 2020, appropriate communication channels shall be used to formally extend invitations to affected persons, and such details as modalities, dates, time, and venue shall be communicated along with the invitation. Our elected officials, our governors, our senators, our representatives, and so on, may claim that they have not been told about this. So within the next 30 days, we will invite them and place it before them. In the aforementioned 30-day period of consultation, NINAS enjoins the peoples of the Alliance territory, particularly the younger generation, at home and abroad. The younger generation are the most affected by all these things that are happening at home and abroad. It is more your country than any other person. In the aforementioned 30-day period of consultation, NINAS enjoys the peoples of the Alliance territory, particularly the younger generation at home and abroad, whose futures have been badly compromised by the Nigerian state, to intensify the enlightenment about the December 16, 2020 constitutional force majeure proclamation among the populace, with a view to mobilizing the local populace towards the inevitable engagement with political parties and political marshals from their localities, who, for humongous personal gains, cling tenaciously to the 1999 Constitution and even planning to partake in further national elections in 2023 under that Constitution, at a time when the people they claim to lead and represent are struggling to ease out the same 1999 Constitution from which all their miseries flow, including killing, gross insecurity, and mass impoverishment, and which make them slaves in their own homeland. The political parties must now be persuaded to close shop forthwith, albeit temporarily, until the constitution by which the winners of any future elections, especially the 2020 election, will govern, since all political parties in Nigeria operate under the 1999 Constitution, and the winners of any elections must swear to and govern by the 1999 Constitution. This 30-day period of consultations offers the federal government of Nigeria a fresh window of opportunity beyond the 90 days period of notice that expired March 16, 2021, to bring itself to the table of dialogue and negotiation set up by the constituent components of Nigeria by way of the December 16, 2020 NINAS proclamation. Being all agreed that no progress is possible for the peoples of Nigeria under the 1999 Unitary Constitution, we cannot be proclaiming restructuring. We do not proclaim restructuring. We are not talking about restructuring. Resource control, rule of laws, security, end SARS, end corruption, or even good governance, and still be warming up to go We cannot be talking about all those things and still be warming up to go to another round of general elections in 2023 that will renew the life of the 1999 Constitution, which guarantees unitarianism, resource hijack, impunity, insecurity, SARS killing, corruption, and bad governance. We must now get honest with ourselves and turn off the tap from which these evils flow without further delay. And all these evils flow from the 1999 Constitution. The 1990 Constitution is that tap. In closing, let it be clearly understood that in the face of the demise of the 1999 Constitution and the rapid progression towards self-help across Nigeria, by people who find themselves under the invasion of murderous, heavily armed Fulani militia masquerading as herdsmen, while the security agents look the other way, it is only a matter of time for the bloody altercations that are currently building up to explode into the violent disintegration of Nigeria with catastrophic consequences. That's why they're very careful about that.
So, if this time turn again, is this better now? Okay, all right, okay.
Is that okay?
Focus.
What about that? It's okay.
Once again, Koiki Media, back at the wall.
Is it okay now? Is it okay now?
The view is okay.
Okay, it's okay now.
So you just let it also be understood that the propositions of December 16, 2020 proclamation by the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalist Alliance for Self-Determination (NINAS) offers Nigerians and the concerned international community the most viable, most comprehensive, and most peaceful framework for undertaking the inevitable fundamental reconsideration of the damaged constitutional basis of Nigeria. As you may all recall, the situation of Nigeria compelled the United Nations Special Rapporteur to Nigeria. As we may all recall, the situation of Nigeria compelled the United Nations Special Rapporteur to Nigeria, Agnes Callamard, in a September 2019 visitation, to describe the constitutional arrangement of Nigeria as, I'm quoting her now, a pressure cooker for injustice. That's what the United Nations representative said. That the 1999 Nigerian Constitution is, quote, a pressure cooker for injustice in circumstances that pose a threat to global security in the event that Nigeria snaps. Since the most notorious global terror networks, including ISIS and Al-Qaeda, are already converging in the large swathes of ungoverned spaces in Nigeria, offers and with frightening prospects of an unprecedented refugee crisis for the world, should Nigeria become broken. As we sit here today, we are already seeing the beginnings of the flood of Nigerian refugees into the rest of West Africa. Particularly the Yoruba who are now taking refuge in Benin Republic. So it's already happening. What that woman said could happen is already happening. Now that Sheikh Gumi has helped us piece together the last pieces of the jigsaw puzzle regarding who are the terrorists tormenting Nigeria, where they are, what their motives are, what the Nigerian government and security agencies know, and the ethno-religious fissure within the terror battlefield. Ninas is confident that the illusions of many Nigerians regarding the monster whom we are all up against will be dispersed, and more indigenous Nigerians will step forth to embrace the efforts that Ninas is now making. Those who insist on governing Nigeria with the imposed fraudulent and unworkable 1999 Constitution, as well as those who still aspire to contest elections, further national elections under that Constitution, should know that they are the ones pushing Nigeria towards a violent disintegration. But the ethnic nations currently trapped in the failed Lugadian experiment of 1914 will do everything legitimate under appropriate international instruments to extricate themselves from the union of death, attrition, and backwardness that Nigeria has become for us. Ninas urges our various peoples across the Alliance territory to remain calm and confident as measured steps are being taken towards ending our bondage. For the avoidance of doubt, the Ninas proclamation of constitutional dispute on December 16, 2020, please listen to this. For the avoidance of doubt, and this is a very important place. Yeah.
Even if we have to try this now.
Okay, done now.
1 minute, sir.
The voice is.
No, I've done that. Voice off.
Did you adjust the voice?
They said that you take voice out before I did, and then I put it back. She hunger. It's not she hunger.
Can you see him? Yes,
Okay.
Go, sir.
All right. The last very important paragraph. For the avoidance of doubt, the Ninas proclamation of constitutional dispute of December 16, 2020 terminated the life of the fraudulent 1999 Constitution. For the avoidance of doubt, the Ninas proclamation of December 2020, of December 16, 2020, terminated the life of the fraudulent 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, and therefore restored our sovereignty that was confiscated by that Constitution. So we now are in control of our own self-determination. What is to outline the processes and modality for the necessary and orderly transition to our full self-determination and sovereignty in the world. Therefore, we hereby call on the peoples of our alliance territories, the Middle Belt, the South-South, the Southeast, and the Southwest, to rise to the challenge of shaking off the shackles and manacles hitherto imposed on us by the defunct 1999 Constitution. The task before our peoples are as follows. 1. To put together and perfect the documents of their sovereignty. To put together, to create, to distill, and perfect the documents of their sovereignty, namely the map of their territory, the draft constitutions, their draft constitution, or charters of relationships for those units that are multi-ethnic. I repeat, to distill and perfect the documents of our sovereignty. Namely, the documents are the following: the exact maps of our territories. 2, and the draft constitutions of our countries, or the charters of relationships for those of our units that are multi-ethnic. 2, to embark upon and intensify our efforts towards United Nations mandated referendums and plebiscites. That's the next step. So you young people, you must now go out and tell our people. We have arrived at a point when we will ask the United Nations to come and help us run referendums so that our people can speak about their future. Do we want to be continue to be part of Nigeria, or do we want to be independent of Nigeria? Independent. That has to be done. Yeah. Third, in the face of the demise of the 1999 Constitution, which has been an impediment to the control and management of our territories and resources, particularly the 68-item exclusive federal list, the governors of our states in the alliance territory are hereby advised to, in the interim, work with their state assemblies to make necessary legislative and regulatory arrangements for the effective control and security of their respective territories as a part of their transitional process to the new order which has been commenced today. As a part of the overall management of transition process, we call on our people to cooperate with our state governors for now for the maintenance of law, order, peace, and good governance in our various states. Thank you all for your attention. Thank you all.
Rise up and clap for leader, please. Rise up. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may please have your seat. We shall be taking only 3 questions. We shall be taking only 3 questions from the press.
A few questions and comments.
We're still in the studio in London.
We are still in the studio, please. We'll come back to those 3 questions. We're still in the studio in London, so we'll come back to you. Please prepare your questions. Only 3.
Yeah, go on. We can hear you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Professor Banji Akintoye. That was a well-delivered speech. Professor, quickly, you can hear me loud and clear. 50 media houses, both in-house and online, and over 1 million Nigerians and the diasporans are currently viewing the live feed. Now, coming back to Tony, if you can hear me quickly,
Yes.
are we able to extract some 1 or 2 minutes comment from Sunday Bowl, please?
Okay. Very much so.
They want to hear from
You can hear him. You can listen and take a look. Can you see him now?
Okay, yes, Sunday Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Very clearly. And can you quickly, if Sunday you have heard what the professor has said, I don't know if you have a comment or two that you can make. The press statement that has been read.
Well, I don't have any comment to say. I support my father. Then I support my land. I support my people in Yoruba. There's no going back for all our father say. We want Yoruba nation. So there's no going back. Yeah, because I'm speaking for millions of Yoruba people. So I know anything our father Banji Akintoye say is the final. So we are with him. All our people in home and abroad, we support our father to take our land. There's no going back for that statement. We want our nation. You're welcome.
Tony, I don't know if we do have the opportunity to take 1 or 2 questions. There are people here who have questions to ask. Are you able to entertain at least 2 or 3 questions? Then we can. Is that okay?
Right. We can take 2 questions. See where we go from there. Go on.
I will quickly take the first question from Prince. Prince Adewale, please, can you make your question very quick and snappy? You have a couple of seconds. Go ahead, Prince Adewale, please. Good afternoon. I think you can hear me. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead. Thank you very much, sir. And I say good afternoon to my Baba, Professor Akintoye. Daddy, who are ready to thank you very much. We enjoy what you've done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Watching you, the following you, we appreciate you, everything you've done from long time up to this moment, and we are very happy. Thank you very much. All I just want to say is just to say thank you. Daddy, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
From the first from our own local people. Maxwell.
I've told them the last 3, sir.
Yeah, go on. And before we proceed, we have over 50 media houses, local media houses covering live. And so they will also ask 3 questions. We just limit them to 3 questions so that the whole world can see them and hear the answers we give to them. Okay. Yeah.
And I want to thank everybody. I also want to recognize Professor Banji Akintoye and also the good work Nadia has been doing. Now,
Yeah, thank you. Just to make it clear, what we did on the 16th of December 2020 was to invalidate and terminate the life of that constitution, that contrived constitution, because our signature was put on it, and we didn't have any meeting, we didn't make the document. And so, having waited for 90 days for the federal government of Nigeria to come forward so that we can all begin to work our way to what will replace that document that is now dead. They haven't come. What we're doing today is to proceed with the processes that will, move us to new constitutional arrangements, to fresh protocols amongst ourselves. And then there's still a limited recognition for the sake of peace, for the sake of to avoid all sorts of anarchy, until we properly take over all of the functions. But all those impediments thrown at us by that constitution are no longer before us. We're just going to get those who are in charge, the governors, like you had in the speech. The governors, can now proceed with whatever they need to do to secure their territories, to take hold of their assets, that they can begin to work to, in the interim until proper transitional arrangements are put in place. That's where we are now. We're just proceeding with the transitioning. When the federal government makes up its mind, it can come. If it doesn't want to come, the owners of the sovereignty are well in a position to proceed with what they need to do.
Seeking referendum.
We are going forward, it will go all the way to referendum. Constitutions have been prepared, and with the window for dealing with it together is still open in the 30 days of consultations that will have to happen. Now the media of Nigeria. Questions?
Number one.
Announce yourself to the hearing of everybody. Hold on.
Hold on, please. We are taking only 3 questions. Number 1, Alaroyi. Number 2, Punch. Number 3, Inspiration FM. Which one do you recommend? The Punch. Punch is number 2. Which one is number 3? Inspiration FM. Do you recommend?
Radio Nigeria.
Radio Nigeria. Where's Radio Nigeria?
Hold on, sir. 1 print, 1 radio, 1 TV. Okay.
Inspiration is radio. Okay. Radio Nigeria is number 3. Inspiration is number 4. Number 1, please.
Okay, Baba. Àwọn bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń fọn rere ìdádúró orílẹ̀-èdè Oòduà.
Hold on. This interview is going on a TV platform in London. The whole world is listening. We must speak in a language they can. The whole day is connected with over 500 rebroadcasts. So please let the question be asked so that the answer can go to the whole world at the same time. It's a live program. Please put your briefly in English.
As you are pushing for self-actualization of Oòduà nation, some people are clamoring for just restructuring. Don't you think the aspiration of those politicians will be a plug in the wheel of actualization of Oòduà nation?
Well, the press conference of today is by the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, of which the Yoruba bloc is one. The Eastern bloc is there. The middle belt is there.
We want Yoruba nation.
There's the question of
restructuring again. Anybody that want to ask any question here, don't mention restructuring. We want Yoruba nation.
Now, the question of restructuring
does not arise.
Which country do they want to win? The constitution that creates and defines relationship in the union is now out. The union is at an end as far as that constitution is the basis.
So which country
do they want to restructure? The business to be done now is to see whether what the nationalities that were trapped here since 1914, since 1999 by that constitution will do with their sovereignties. But first order of business, if that constitution must be completely out of everybody's life, Yoruba will take back their sovereignty and decide what they do with their neighbors. If there's anybody in the union who has embraced a civilization that requires him to kill others as infidels, or who say he's born to rule others because he's of one stock, ethnic stock or the other, then the rest of Nigeria is saying very clearly to them today that that union imposed on everybody by them, in which lives are no longer sacrosanct, the federation we're supposed to be is no longer a federation, the secular union we're supposed to be is no longer in place because some people embrace Sharia. All of that put together, there's no Nigeria that can be restructured right now. The constitution that creates Nigeria is in disgrace. Hello? Hello? Are we still there?
Go ahead, ask your question.
Punch. Unmute.
Yes.
Unmute. Right.
Okay, punch.
Where did we lose? Where did we leave out?
Hold on.
No, punch. You didn't hear the question punch asked.
Punch has not asked.
Punch has not asked.
Was it really Nigerian? Please repeat your question. Repeat your question so I can answer again. They didn't hear. Yes, hold on.
That's only Yoruba.
No, that's not
Aláròyé is Yoruba.
Yes,
Aláròyé, you have the floor.
He already asked.
Okay, let's carry on.
No, Yoruba and Aláròyé now.
No. Let's carry on. Let me answer the question again. Hold on. Can you hear me?
We are fighting for Yoruba.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you sure that hear
We need to say anything you want to say here in Yoruba. You can translate with them. Exactly.
Can we
Ṣé àwọn èèyàn ń gbọ́ ṣé wọ́n ń gbọ́ ọ̀pọ̀ tá à ń sọ báyìí? Ẹ check fóònù.
Okay. If you can take it from
Béèrè ní
here.
èdè abínibí wa.
Ó gbọ́ English náà.
They can't hear anything. There's too much noise in their studio. Every single thing happens here. They are hearing every conversation.
So let us keep it cool.
Please.
Who is the next question? Who is the next
Let's
question?
have one house, please. It's disturbing the signal. Thank you.
Can we carry on? Can you hear us now? Okay. The last question was from Aláròyé, and he was asking about the matter of restructuring. That some people are clamoring for restructuring at a time we are making all these propositions, and that how do we deal with all of it? The answer I was given on behalf of Ninas is that there is a union dispute around the very country Nigeria. The constitution that creates and defines the relationship in that union is in distress. The owners of the sovereignty that are corralled into Nigeria are pulling back their signature from the forged instrument. They've rejected the constitution that creates the union. Their sovereignty is on the table now. Yoruba is taking back its sovereignty. The eastern part and the middle belt are taking back their sovereignties, and they will decide what they will do next with their sovereignty until it goes all the way to referendum. If after 90 days, the operators of Nigeria do not want to come to table for us to work it out together, the sovereignty of the components are in their hands. It is up to them to decide what they do with it, and nothing will stand their way until they get to where they recover it fully. The people talking about restructuring, people should ask them back, which country do they want to restructure? There's no union. The Union of Nigeria is distressed at this moment, and the sovereignties of the constituent components is not dependent on anybody to agree with them or not agree with them. Yoruba wants out.
Next question.
Everybody else wants out. Next question, please.
Punch.
My question is, in this situation, we still have government. We have the state government.
Yes.
I mean the state governors. We have six governors of 6 states of Southwest.
Yes.
Now, how do we ensure there is no confusion? Do you have the support of the governors of the Southwest, or is this going to run in spite of them?
we issued our collective position. The indigenous nationalities of Nigeria across the whole of the South and Middle Belt issued a proclamation on the 16th of December. In that proclamation, and I will invite the media to please go back to it, Guardian newspaper has it on the front page today. The New Telegraph has it at the back page today. The website of the NINAS, www.freedomfromnigeria.com. Let all the media houses go and read the proclamation itself, because we spoke about this in that proclamation, that we recognize there's a government in place. We're not anarchists. We have offered, NINAS has offered those operating the Nigerian Union, the Nigerian government at this time, the Nigerian state at this time, we offered them a transitioning. We said, look, let the existing governance structures remain in place so that we can go do exactly what South Africa did with apartheid constitution in 1990 that lasted 4 years before they got to new things. Therefore, if after 90 days they are not coming forward, since they haven't come forward, we again said today, you go and read what we put out today, that there is another 30 days that will commence from midnight of March 17, 2021, within which the elected representatives of the three blocks in the alliance, the component, the regions in the alliance, that is elected representatives from Yoruba land, from the eastern part, including the south, south, and southeast, from the middle belt. They have been recalled, they have been invited to come home to their respective regions to consult, because the next step after what has been done already, as we said in that proclamation of 2020, the next step, which is the reconsideration of our allegiance to that constitution, will affect those people who are in Abuja representing these alliance blocks. And so we just are given another 30 days within which they should come to discuss with the people they represent in that Abuja, and all the other people who are acting on behalf of with that constitution. So in that 30 days, in the press conference text of today, we again reminded the federal government that the window is still open for them to turn up, but we're not waiting for them for anything. The constitution is in distress. The sovereignties of the people who are trapped in this union by that constitution is on the table for them to work out an orderly way of retrieving them. The governors, again, we already told our people to please work with the governors in the interim. The state assemblies work with the governors. Anything that constitution prevented them from doing before, they have to just sit down, and if they have to pass laws, if they have to make regulations, to go and begin to do those things. The security of their people cannot depend on anything anybody is saying from anywhere else. The assets that belong to them that have been taken away against that exclusive list. Yes. The action that have been taken by the owners of Nigeria in exercise of their sovereignty puts that exclusive list on the side. We're in Ibadan today. As we were coming here, I was looking at the newspapers. The governor of Oyo State is asking the people in Abuja to remove solid minerals from the exclusive Inspiration FM, please.
Okay, when Professor was reading his speech, he mentioned referendum.
Yes.
And we all saw how Brexit went.
Yes.
Now the question is Yoruba race ready to present a common front with other blocks to get this done? That's my question.
They've been working. They've been working for 21 years now. We're only at the terminal stage of a long process to retrieve our sovereignty that have been hijacked by the carcass of the defunct federation. Nigeria as a federation collapsed in 1966. The people who seized the carcass and who now managed to impose a constitution that pretends that Nigeria is still in place, the Nigeria we agreed upon was to be a federation, was to be a secular union, was to be a union of equal partnership. Yeah. Some people hijacked it. It is our sovereignty that we're talking about now, because they put our signature on the forged instrument by which they're holding our sovereignties and our assets. What we have done now is we're just bringing a framework for an orderly transition from where we are now where that constitution has collapsed and the unitary union is at an end. So the thing that will replace it, that's where referendum comes. The global community is listening. The UN had come here in 2019 to announce to the rest of the world that the killings going on here is on account of our constitution that is like pressure cooker for injustice. The UN Special Rapporteur to Nigeria, Agnes Callamard. And so we've come to where we just need to take the balance of the process that will free those sovereignties so that we can enter into fresh protocols. There's no quarrel. You can see the Yoruba is here, the Middle Belt, everybody's here. The people who are causing the problem, who are killing in all the places, are the only problem we have. So those people who owe it a duty of faith to kill everybody else, those people who say we cannot be in a union of equal partnership, are just the ones we have just to put a process to it so it doesn't become disorderly. We hope and pray that those who are in government house will listen to their people and come for us to work it all out together, because people are already resorting to self-help. Only statesmen, the people, the Ninas, is a gathering of statesmen that are now saying we must stop this before it gets, consumes everybody.
Because that question is referring.
Now, Professor Kitoye will, give his own answer to that question.
Yes, the new day has actually been proclaimed. We have reached a point at which we can define our status. We are going to define our status by the action that we now take. We have claimed our sovereignty back. The important thing now is how are we going to structure our sovereignty, our self-determination, and the steps are clear. We need a referendum. And we will ask the United Nations to come and do the referendum, the type that they did in Sudan, so that there will be a referendum for the Yoruba people, asking the Yoruba people, what do you want? Continued membership of Nigeria or your own country? It will ask the people of the East the same question. It will ask the people of the Middle Belt the same question. Then secondly, each group must sit down expeditiously and now present their picture of themselves to the world. Where is the map of your country? You might think that those things are not important. They are the most important things in what we are doing now. Where is the map of your country? Of the country you are talking about. Where is the map of it?
And the constitution.
Who are the people who are in that territory? In the case of the Yoruba, we can answer, we the Yoruba people are in that territory, surrounded by the boundaries of that map. How do you want to govern yourself? That means we must write a constitution. And for the Yoruba people, it is easy. We are one nation. We can sit down, appoint our lawyers from every direction to write our constitution. And they can get it done very quickly. Every group must have its own constitution, because the world is going to ask for that. Before the United Nations will say, okay, we are going to organize a referendum for you, they want to see those things. So we must produce them now. That's it. And then
all the youth, all the Yoruba youth in this our land support our father. We are on support our father because we know this is our father, this is our real father, that he know that he know to fight for our rights in our land, to come and disturb our father, our farms, our sister. If you are meet any Fulani herdsman, we are ready to face him and destroy them. Starting from now. Of course. If any police attack us for that, we are ready for them. We are ready. Yoruba people ready to this country. We are ready to face the country that you don't have mercy for Yoruba.
We have taken back our territory.
Yesterday, we meet my father. I meet some maybe like a 5 years old boy, 6 years. there's no father, they don't have house to sleep, they don't have anything. If you see all these small boys, they smoke India air, I swear. Oh my God, this country is finished. We don't want Nigeria again. We want
Yoruba nation.
We are not fear anybody. We fear only God.
Thank you.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
There's no going back. Ní Yorùbá, bàbá wa lélẹ́yìn, gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ọ̀dọ́ Yorùbá pátápátá a sọ̀pọ̀tì bàbá wa torí pé bàbá wa ń béèrè ẹ̀tọ́ wa fún wa. A dẹ̀ rí pé bàbá tó mọ iye ọmọ lélẹ́yìn, bàbá ń rò pé nígbà tó ń bá dàgbà kí ni àbọ̀ tó ń fẹ́ jẹ́ fún àwọn tí wọ́n ti lọ. Bàbá ti gbé wa délẹ̀ lérí náà already torí pé ohun tá à ń fà yìí kò sí padà sẹ́yìn lórí ẹ̀.
Kò sí o.
Kò dẹ̀ sí ìbẹ̀rù fún ọmọ Ọlọ́run torí pé ọmọ Ọlọ́run làwa ṣe, ọmọ bàbá làwa ṣe nípa ìgbàgbọ́ nínú Kristi. Ẹ̀rù kankan ọba wa torí pé Ọlọ́run ló gbé bàbá wa dìde, ó sì fi àwọn ọmọ akíkanjú tì í lẹ́yìn. Ẹ̀rù kankan ọba wa o, a bẹ̀rù anybody níbi tí nǹkan dé dúró báyìí torí pé ìlú tí a pera wa ní ìlú tó pera ní Nàìjíríà tí ò sí ààbò fún àwa tá a wà ń bẹ̀. Àwọn Fúlàní ń pa wá, wọ́n ń ba gbogbo dúkìá bàbá wa jẹ́, wọ́n fi ń tún tiwọn ṣe. Wọ́n rẹ́pù àwọn àǹtí wa, àwọn àbúrò wa, wọ́n tún ṣe fídíò, wọ́n mọ̀ jẹ́ kárí. Ẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ wá jẹ́ ẹ̀tún fi hàn wá. Fúdí èyí gbogbo ẹ̀mọ́ gbẹ́nu gbogbo ọ̀dọ́ Yorùbá sọ̀rọ̀ pé a fẹ́ wọn mọ́. Ní orílẹ̀ wa ń bí kálukú dirẹ̀ mú. Ìlú Benin Republic wọn ò tó Ọ̀ṣun State.
Wọn ò tó local government méjì ń bàdàn.
Kí ni mo sọ fún yìí? Wọ́n ń dẹ́sẹ̀ lé ayé wọn, wọ́n dẹ̀ ń gbádùn ara wọn. Àlàáfíà wà ń bẹ̀, ààbò wà ń bẹ̀. Gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá wọ́n ti lọ ń jẹ adúró, wọ́n lọ ń ṣe ọmọ ọ̀dọ̀, ṣe nǹkan oríṣiríṣi nílẹ̀ Benin. Benin wá ní kí wọ́n mọ gba ìwé wọn lé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀. Nígbà tí àwa gbọ́njú, ìlú Ghana wọ́n máa ń wá lu wálẹ̀ Yorùbá ń bí, wọ́n máa ń ṣe so bàtà, súnmíkà, lábàáyọ́ tó ń jò, ní bàtà tó ń jò, iṣẹ́ tó wá ń ṣe ń bí nìyẹn. Bọ̀ nísìnyí, àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá wọ́n ti di ẹrú nílùú Ghana débi pé Ghana ń lé wa pé ká máa lọ lu wa. A dẹ̀ ń pera wa ní wọ́n Nàìjíríà. Gbogbo agbára tí ń bẹ́ẹ̀ lù Nàìjíríà ń bí kò sí Yorùbá mẹ́. Ọdún 19 rèé tí ọmọ Yorùbá ti ṣe IG. Buratai àbíkílẹ̀ tán láwọn olè lọ́lẹ́jẹ́ mẹ́ta yìí. Chief of Staff Army. Yorùbá ò débẹ̀ rí. IG tí ń bẹ́ẹ̀ lù yìí. Hausa Fúlàní ló ń ṣe, àwọn náà ń ṣe ọ̀gá sójà, àwọn náà ń ṣọ̀gá SS, àwọn náà ń ṣọ̀gá gbogbo nǹkan láyé, kò sí Yorùbá nìkan. Wọ́n làwọn fún wa ní Vice President extra tire dọ́mítà tí ó lè sọ̀rọ̀, tí ó lè béèrè ẹ̀tọ́ Yorùbá fún. A dẹ̀ rí pé gbogbo àwọn bàbá wa tọ́jú olóṣèlú yìí wọ́n ń tà wá ni, wọ́n fi wá gbá game, wọ́n fi wá ṣe business, wọ́n fi wá gba contract. So fúdìí èyí eléyìí tá à ń ṣe lẹ́nu yìí gbogbo àwọn ọba wa pátápátá látòrí Ọ̀ọ̀ni Aláàfin gbogbo ọba tí ń bẹ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá ni wọ́n ń bẹ́ ń bí báyìí. Ṣùgbọ́n bá tó bá fẹ́ sọ fún wa pé òun ò sí ń bẹ̀ ó ṣe fídíò kí gbogbo Yorùbá rí. Gbogbo àwọn tó jẹ́ bàbá wa látòrí bàbá wa bàbá wa tó wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, bàbá wa Ayọ̀ Adébánjọ, bàbá wa tó jókòó, gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tí bàbá wa sọ yìí bàbá wa Ayọ̀ Adébánjọ mọ̀ sí, gbogbo Afẹ́nifẹ́re mọ̀ sí, gbogbo àwọn àgbààgbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá mọ̀ sí, gbogbo ọ̀dọ́ Yorùbá mọ̀ sí, àgbà tí máa ń bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ̀ Yorùbá yìí tó bá ní òun ọ̀fọwọ́ sí nǹkan tí bàbá bá ń jẹ́ akító ṣe lé ní afẹ́kọ́ ṣe fídíò. Ohun tí a fẹ́ ni pé òmìnira fún Yorùbá ó sì ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti òní tí bàbá wa ti sọ̀rọ̀, tí bàbá wa ti pàṣẹ. A sì nígbàgbọ́ yìí pé mímí ò lé mi bàbá. Kò dẹ̀ sí ẹnì kankan tí ó lè fa ọmọ Yorùbá kan ní aṣọ níbi tí ìdádé dó. Tí a bá ń gbọ́ nìkan yìí pé ọlọ́pàá kan tàbí sọ́jà kan tàbí SS kan ó fi ọwọ́ kan ọmọ Yorùbá kan yóò dògùn ni o. Ó ti tó gẹ́. Mo ń gba ẹnu gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá sọ̀rọ̀ pé a fẹ́ gbogbo Fúlàní agbénipa lórí ilẹ̀ wa mọ́. Láti ìsinsìnyí lọ a dẹ̀ fẹ́ gba gbogbo àwọn bàbá wa níyànjú tí wọ́n jẹ́ àgbẹ̀ kan padà sóko wọn. Láti ọ̀la lọ a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí rí gbogbo ìletò déletò láti mọ bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ kálukú ọmọ padà sóko rẹ̀ ní ìrọ̀rùn. A dẹ̀ rí pé a mójútó wọn débi pé a ní rí Fúlàní kankan tí ó yọ wọn lẹ́nu mọ́ torí pé àwọn Fúlàní yìí wọ́n ń jẹ orúkọ, wọ́n ń ba dúkìá àwọn bàbá wa jẹ́, wọ́n ń jẹ oko, wọ́n ń ba tábà nǹkan jẹ́ láti lè jẹ́ pé kí àwọn ọmọ kó ata tiwọn àti tòmátì wọn àti sùnmọ́tà fún wa wọ́n ti sọ wá lẹ́rú. ẹni pé gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ní Fúlàní ti yọ apó ààfin Fúlàní ó ju ààfin àwọn bàbá wa lọ a lè dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa Olúbàdàn bàbá dáadáa wọ́n ti yọ ẹni pé wọ́n ti gba agbára kó lọ́wọ́ Sẹ́ríkì kan wọ́n ní kó wà lábẹ́ baálẹ̀ léyìí tó yẹ pé bó ṣe yẹ kó wà nìyẹn gbogbo ìyà tí àwọn Fúlàní fi ń jẹ wá gbogbo agbára tí wọ́n ń lò yìí wọn ò tí ì bí ọmọ Yorùbá kan dáa kó lorú ẹ̀ nílùú wọn àwa Yorùbá tá à ń gbé nílùú wọn á lágbára kankan kí ló dé tá wá ń ṣe ẹrú nílùú tí wọ́n ti bí wa kí ló dé tí à ń ṣe ẹrú nílùú tí wọ́n ti bí wa tó lè jẹ́ pé àwọn tí wọ́n ń pera wọn ní sẹ́nítọ̀ tí wọ́n ń pera wọn ní ọ̀nẹ́rẹ́mù tó ń sọ lórí wa wọ̀nyí wọ́n máa lọ nínú goslow wọ́n rí àwọn ọmọ ọdún mẹ́rin ọmọ ọdún márùn-ún tí wọ́n ń ta gúgúrú tí wọ́n ń ta pọ́pọ́ wọ́n dẹ̀ tún mọ́ ọ̀rá jẹ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ rí pé ẹni ìparun wọn èso lórí gidi so fún díẹ̀ yìí àfẹ́ wọn mọ́ ohun tá a fẹ́ ẹwọ́yẹ ọmọ Yorùbá tí ń bẹ káàkiri àìmọye orílẹ̀-èdè ní Yorùbá pọ̀ jùlọ àìmọye orílẹ̀-èdè ní Yorùbá pọ̀ jùlọ kí ló wá dé arọ gbogbo àgbáyé gbogbo àwọn United Nations kíkiri yóò tó dá wàhálà lẹ̀ kó tó dogun kan á pín wa tí wọ́n bá wá àwọn gbọ́ afẹ́wọ́n àárọ̀ wọn kan wá dá sí ó tó di pé yóò dogun tí wọ́n bá wá dá sí yóò kọjá tọrọ torí pé níbi tí ìkẹ́dọ́dọ́ sí àwọn òsì lábẹ́ Nàìjíríà mọ́ bá sí ẹ̀rọ ọ̀dẹ̀ bàwá láti sọ̀rọ̀ àti kúrò ní abẹ́ kámọ́ lè sọ̀rọ̀ kámọ́ lè sún kámọ́ lè gbé à ń sunú lé wa ọkàn wa balẹ̀ à ń rìn lọ lórí ìrìn ọkàn balẹ̀ kí ló dé sẹ́rù ni wá ní àṣàyẹ wà àwọn olórí la sì yàn adèlá àṣẹ mọ́ tí ń ka wa ní Èkó ń bí àbábá gbogbo àwọn tí ń sọ lórí mẹ́ Fúlàní ni wọ́n àfẹ́ wọn mọ́ pọ́ọ̀tì wa tá a ní pọ́ọ̀tì méjèèjì Fúlàní ní kọ̀ntró wa ń bẹ̀ àfẹ́ wọn mọ́ gbogbo airport wa ń bẹ̀ yẹn Fúlàní ní sọ lórí bẹ̀ àfẹ́ wọn mọ́ sẹ̀mẹ̀ bọ́dà àfẹ́ Fúlàní bẹ̀ mọ́ láti sísí lọ tí bàbá bá ti sọ̀rọ̀ tán àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá kẹfẹ tá a ṣe mítì á lọ sí gbogbo bọ́dà wa lẹ̀ tí ráìsì ó lè mọ wọlé oúnjẹ ó lè mọ wọlé gbogbo ó lè mọ wọlé ní lọ́rùn ẹlẹ́mùsẹ̀ náà ó ti tó gẹ́ gbogbo bọ́dà wa tí ìjọba Nàìjíríà láwọn tí à ń sọ fún ọ pé àṣìlábẹ́ ọmọ báyìí á lọ sí gbogbo ẹlẹ́ láti sí ìlọ fúnra wa gbogbo tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ṣe fún wa àwọn akẹ́tì rẹ́dì fún yín wọ́n ń gbọ́ ẹnu gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá sọ̀rọ̀ ni o àwọn kan lè máa sọ pé ẹnu Yorùbá kò ẹnu wa kò ẹ má fọkàn sí o tẹ́ bá fẹ́ mọ̀ pé ẹnu wa kò ẹ̀yẹ ẹ fọwọ́ kan nìkan ẹ mọ̀ pé gbogbo àwọn ọba pátápátá níbẹ̀ lẹ́yìn wa ọba tó bá bọ̀ sí lẹ́yìn wa kọ́ lọ ṣe fídíò kárí kò ní mọ́júmọ́.
kí ni ìmọ̀ràn yín bá ọmọ Yorùbá tó wà nílẹ̀ Haúsá kí ni ìmọ̀ràn yín bá ọmọ Yorùbá tó wà nílẹ̀ Haúsá.
ìmọ̀ràn mi fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ilẹ̀ Haúsá ni wípé ilé ti tó lọ ẹ̀mọ̀ ọ̀bọ̀ ńlé o ẹ̀mọ̀ ọ̀bọ̀ ńlé o ẹ̀mọ̀ ọ̀bọ̀ ńlé o à ń gbà yín nímọ̀ràn ẹ̀mọ̀ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá bẹ nílẹ̀ Haúsá ẹ̀mọ̀ ọ̀bọ̀ ńlé ìyà tí ń jẹ wá yìí ti tó o gbogbo àwa Yorùbá ẹ má jà bára wa jà ẹja ṣera wa lọ́kan àsìkò ti tó ilé ti yá ẹja ṣera wa lọ́kan ó sì jẹ́
alàgbà Sunday Adéyẹmọ alias Sunday Ìgbòho a fẹ́ kí bàbá wa Professor Banji Akíntóyè kan ṣe àṣekágbá pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ ìyànjú àṣekágbá. Last statement, sir. No, it's an international thing.
Now, my idea in this very important and historic moment, the most important thing for the Yoruba nation is to learn to work towards achieving their sovereignty. We have already declared that sovereignty now, but the Yoruba people must learn to work together. For instance, a meeting was held in a meeting was held by our elders and leaders and highly placed persons today. And if you hear this, the enumeration of the grievances of the Yoruba nation, what the Yoruba nation is suffering in Nigeria, it is the same thing that we are talking about here. Therefore, there should be no reason why we cannot all work together for the purpose of extricating ourselves from this rubble that Nigeria has become. So my advice to you young people is gather yourselves together, bring yourselves together, speak to our elders who are still hesitating about Nigeria. There is no need for any Yoruba person to be talking about restructuring now, or about a new constitution for Nigeria, or about resource control, and things like that. The game is up. We have seen enough of Nigeria. We have decided our status in the world today, and let us move forward and implement it smoothly without any violence. Please do not fight anybody, no violence. We are going to have a separate Yoruba country very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
It's a Yoruba nation. It's a Yoruba nation.